we look back upon our journey and we dream about the future. The family tree is changing.
Yes.
And it starts right now. It started 8 years ago, really, with us.
And I grew up in a home too that didn't really talk about money necessarily or teach about finances and all that sort of stuff. I really didn't know how to manage my money well.
Well, my name is Justin Wenzel. This is my wife, Kelly. We've been married 8 years, but obviously our journey began far before then. I actually grew up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. My family grew up here. My parents have a business here. I was actually previously married before I was with Kelly. Unfortunately, we went our separate ways. We would argue about things that didn't have dollar signs attached to them, but were totally connected to finances. The turning point for me was going through that divorce and just hitting rock bottom for myself. And I knew right then and there that when that ended, that's not how I wanted to do it if God would give me the opportunity to do it again. I knew that I wanted something to change. A couple of years after my divorce, I began looking for that godly woman again.
I knew after our first date that was it. I knew that he was the one for me. I knew that God had sent him to be mine, and so...
Yeah, we didn't waste any time. No. Once God puts two people together, we just go with it. And so we had both been normal up to this point. I was blessed that my parents took care of my schooling for me, so I didn't have a bunch of student loans, but I had credit cards, and I had credit cards that were maxed out. And then Kelly...
I had student loans and a car loan that were coming with me into our marriage. Then Justin had asked for the Total Money Makeover book for Christmas, which I got for him, not really knowing anything about it. And he said, "Would you like to read this?" I said, "Of course, love, so I'd love to read it." So we got engaged and read the book and decided that we wanted to make progress in our finances from the get-go, because ultimately we had decided that we wanted a family and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. We needed to make a plan so that I could do that. And
that was the beginning of our journey, was the book. And so at that point, we kind of started doing our own individual budgets before we got married. And then once we got married, we obviously joined everything together and then started doing a joint budget. And looking back on our journey, I remember how it felt like we were sacrificing everything when we first started. It was interesting. For me, the initial phase wasn't so hard. It was the 2 and 3 years down the road when you've been doing this for a while. And there's still things that we would like to do or just things that we want to spend money on. We have those desires just like everybody else. We're not different than anybody else. We just have a piece of paper that tells us no. And sometimes it's nice having a piece of paper tell you no, and then versus having to tell your spouse no. We had to prove to ourselves that we could live on just my income before we could make the leap and really jump out of the workplace for Kelly.
Right. About a year into our marriage, then we found out we were pregnant with our first son. Yep. And through your family's business, they don't offer health insurance. Right. And so our first son was born in 2010. We were married in 2008, so that's 2 years in. And a year later, in 2011, we were debt-free for the first time.
Pretty soon after we were debt-free, we found ourselves with a child in the hospital. Every 2 years we have one that goes in the hospital. Yes. So another kid goes in the hospital, went from debt-free to back into debt.
But thankfully all was okay. That's what matters. And so then we clawed our way back out again. That kind of made the debt snowball go a little slower with that expense, but we've made it work.
I am so blessed to have met Kelly. I'm so blessed that we have the same goals and the same dreams, and we want the same things for our family. I couldn't even imagine where we'd be. I guarantee we'd be going on vacations on credit cards. I guarantee, we'd have 20 grand in credit card debt.
For sure.
I'm sure of that. We wouldn't have paid down.
Probably still my school loans.
That's right.
To be honest.
Why would we have paid them off early, right? We can make the payments, let's just keep them.
Perfect.
We find ourselves now on baby step 3 and starting to see the bank account grow and looking at our future.
Through teaching financial peace classes and just in our marriage, our dream has always been to give. And we're really starting to be able to dream about how can we give. and bless others the way that we have been blessed through our journey.
Being able to give unexpectedly and watching someone's reaction is one of the most fun things that we have ever done with money. Where we've come in these last 8 years have been nothing short of a miracle, quite honestly. From where we started, previous to being married and previous to even knowing each other, to where we are now, we oftentimes still sit there in awe of 3 beautiful little kids and just a wonderful family relationship, and just being able to meet our obligations each month. And I can't imagine being able to do that really without having gone through financial peace, and really without having read the book and gotten together on our finances, and really having that shared dream and goal and vision for our family, and wanting the same things. And so, just looking back, it's just been such a blessing. And anyone else that is interested in having even a piece of what we have, it's not about us. It's not about something that we did that was special and miraculous, but just watching God work and watching Him work through us and through Dave's teaching has just been a fantastic journey, and something that we're blessed to be a part of.